Hulk Hogan's daughter Brooke didn't make it to her dad's funeral on August 5th, 2025. And the reason she skipped out is not necessarily because of the family drama you might expect. Brooke famously hasn't spoken to either of her parents in quite a while when Hulk died at the age of 71 on July 24th. As her mom, Linda Hogan, said in a video posted in March,
"Brooke doesn't talk to us. She's had twins. She got married. She didn't tell us. She had twins. She didn't tell us. She had a huge fight with Terry."
Hulk's real name was Terry Bollea. When the Hulkster married his third wife, Sky Daly, in 2023, Brooke posted to Instagram that she wasn't going to be at the wedding, stating, "For my own journey to healing and happiness, I have chosen to create some distance between myself and my family." But that family rift is not the reason Brooke gave for missing her dad's funeral. In a lengthy Instagram post the day of the service, she wrote, "My father hated the morbidity of funerals. He didn't want one. So instead of going to the funeral she says her dad wouldn't have wanted, Brooke took her husband, former hockey player Stephen Oleksy, and her toddler twins to the beach to, quote, put them in the same salty waters Hulk loved." She wrote that was what made her feel closest to her dad. Brooke added with a heartbreak emoji, "The only thing missing today was him in his pop-up lawn chair watching the waves and the sunset." Brooke added that by honoring her father privately and simply, it agreed with her soul. Not only did Brooke post her Instagram explanation of how she honored her dad on August 5th, but a few hours earlier, she also made some public statements in a pretty unlikely place, the Bubba the Love Sponge radio show. Bubba, whose real name is Todd Clem, and Hulk had a very public falling out after clips from a 2007 sex tape involving Hulk and Bubba's wife at the time, Heather Clem, were made public by the website Gawker. Bubba admitted to TMZ that he and Hulk never made amends after that. He said, "I'm saddened that I will never be able to tell him how sorry I am for the way I handled things that created the rift between us." Even so, Brooke called into Bubba's radio show the morning of the funeral. Bubba noted that he and Brooke hadn't spoken since 2011. Brooke discussed a number of things, including the blame Bubba took for the tape being released in 2012. Brooke told him,
"My dad told me that he knew it wasn't you that leaked the tape."
Brooke added that Hulk believed it was one of Bubba's employees who obtained the footage when Bubba had to move all his files from his home during his divorce from Heather. The publication of the footage led to a lawsuit that caused the eventual dissolution of Gawker in 2016. That lawsuit also made public another clip from the tape in which Hulk used racist slurs, which led to his temporary removal from the WWE Hall of Fame. On the day he died, reports stated Hulk Hogan's cause of death was cardiac arrest, but a week later, on July 31st, the Pinellas County Forensic Science Center offered more detail in a report provided to Page 6. The report confirmed that Hulk had an acute myocardial infarction, more commonly called a heart attack. The report also revealed some underlying conditions. One was atrial fibrillation, which is a heart condition characterized by a rapid and irregular heartbeat. Another was leukemia, CLL, a form of cancer that affects the body's white blood cells. It's most common in adults around Hulk's age at the time of his death. Brooke, frankly, doesn't buy the leukemia finding. She told Bubba that no official autopsy was performed and added,
For me, the no autopsy and the leukemia out of nowhere hits me as BS.
Brooke added, "That's what bothers me the most. We don't have cancer that runs in our family. It seems weird." Notably, Bubba had been saying months before Hulk's death that his former friend was on his deathbed, or wouldn't be the same as people remembered him following complications from neck surgery. Bubba mentioned in the discussion with Brooke that, at least before she and Hulk stopped talking, she had very much been on top of his health. Bubba said Brooke kept copious notes about her dad's various medical procedures over the years. Brooke said that's why the mention of leukemia in the cause of death report was so surprising to her.
I saw his blood work every time. One doctor, I quote, said, "His blood is like a 25-year-old.
Hulk said on the Impulsive podcast in September 2024 that he had 25 surgeries over the previous 10 years.
10 back surgeries, both knees, both hips replaced, shoulders, everything.
Brooke told Bubba that doctors performed blood panels before each of those surgeries and never pointed out a high white blood cell count. She added, I would be surprised that a surgeon would work on somebody with leukemia or somebody that would see a high white blood cell count and not do further investigation first. The first option is treat the leukemia. That said, there has been at least some indication that Brooke had concerns about her dad's health. TMZ quoted sources close to her that said Brooke's last phone conversation with Hulk happened in September 2023, about 2 weeks before he married Daly. The sources said Brooke asked her dad to slow down his career and focus more on his health. In her appearance on the Bubba the Love Sponge show, Brooke also opened up about why her dad chose not to walk her down the aisle when she married Alexei in 2022.
I was like, well, I want you to walk me down the aisle. And he goes, nope, that's not me. I don't do weddings. I don't do funerals anymore.
Brooke said that she and Alexei never had plans to invite Linda to their wedding, but Alexei asked Hulk for his blessing. Hulk provided it but stopped short of attending. According to Brooke, Hulk said, "You can't get me to leave the beach." Brooke suggested that her dad was pretty jaded about weddings at that point. He had just gotten divorced from his second wife, Jennifer McDaniel, the year before. In fact, Brooke said that Hulk said at the time that he'd never get married again, though obviously he changed his mind about that. Brooke said she also asked her dad if he'd still choose to have kids if he could go back in time and do things differently, given that she and her husband were considering having children of their own. She said Hulk told her he wouldn't. She added, "So that kind of really broke my heart. But I was like, alright, he's being honest, you know? Maybe he's got his reasons or whatever, so no big deal." Even though Hulk's only daughter didn't attend his funeral, Page 6 confirmed that plenty of major names in wrestling and entertainment did. The private ceremony took place at a church in Largo, Florida, just outside of Hulk's hometown of Clearwater. WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque and his wife Stephanie McMahon were in attendance. Page 6 snapped a photo of Levesque arriving in Florida by private jet on Tuesday. Hulk's fellow Hall of Famer Ric Flair noted on X that he was also there. Former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon, who hasn't been seen in public very much in recent years, was there as well. Hogan's former New World Order stablemate, legendary basketball player Dennis Rodman, also attended. Page 6 also noted that Kid Rock, Jackass star Bam Margera, and comedian Theo Von were among the celebs who came out to mourn the Hulkster. The outlet also obtained photos of Hogan's casket being carried into the church. The pallbearers were wearing yellow flowers, likely a nod to Hogan's signature babyface colors, red and yellow. Hogan was reportedly cremated instead of buried. Page 6 didn't state which members of Hulk's family made it to the ceremony, so it's unclear whether Linda or his son Nick were there. As of the making of this video, Hulk's longtime friend and manager Jimmy Hart hasn't posted about the funeral either. All we know for sure is that Brooke wasn't there. One place Nick Hogan absolutely did appear was at the first night of SummerSlam 2025 at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey on August 2nd. After commentator Michael Cole gave a eulogy of sorts about Hulk's accomplishments over a series of photos of the Hulkster through the years, the camera cut to Nick in the crowd, wearing a red shirt and yellow tie. Nick was clearly emotional, seeming to hold back tears as he applauded. Nick was also present at the 10-bell salute to Hogan on Raw on July 28th in Detroit. Those were just two of multiple tributes to Hulk the company did in the days after his death. Every show, SmackDown, Raw, and NXT had a 10-bell salute, and different video packages about Hulk's life and career aired. The package on Raw included interview soundbites, with one stating that Hulk was the foundation of everything we have today in wrestling. TNA, where Hulk worked for several years, including alongside Brooke for a time, aired an episode of Impact the night of Hogan's death. The company dedicated the entire episode to his memory. AEW, which had no history with Hulk aside from company president Tony Khan banning him from shows in response to Hulk's racist comments from years before, did acknowledge the legend's passing on the July 26th episode of Collision. Commentator Tony Schiavone, who worked alongside Hulk in WCW in the 1990s and early 2000s, called Hulk the man who brought wrestling into the mainstream. Schiavone added that it's easy to forget that pro wrestling's larger-than-life stars are real people with real families, sending his condolences to Brooke, Nick, and Sky Daly. He added, "If you've never lost a member of your family, you have no idea the pain they are going through right now. And believe you me, it is intense."